Welcome back. They dug this house about 3 days ago, and as you can tell, nothing has happened. No change has occurred, which is not what we want. Our permits are held up at the city, and so we're like I said at the end of the last video, we're at their disposal, and that's one of the issues that we're having with so much growth going on here and so much building is that like permits just take way longer than they normally would to get back to us. In fact, on another house just around the corner from here, that we would have got them at the same time that we got these permits, but there was a change that we had to make with some engineering, and so we made those changes and sent it back to the city, and they said, okay, well, you'll get it back in 13 business days. 13 business days is a long time. I mean, it's 2.5 weeks. It's 2.5 weeks of not being able to do anything, and that's money lost for us, and it's just time lost. So we never want that, obviously. So fortunately, that didn't happen on this one. It's delayed a couple of days, but that's certainly much better than 13 days. And you wouldn't think that it's such a big deal having jobs get pushed because of a permit, but it is, because it makes it so our contractors can't schedule very well, because they depend on a job starting on a certain day, and then if it gets pushed back, then what happens is it makes it so a bunch of jobs get stacked up. One job gets pushed and another one, or even if just one job gets pushed, it ends up making it so they have two to start on the same day instead of just one, and they get stacked up, and it just becomes this big mess. So our concrete guy, we actually did get the permits today. So I misspoke. We finally got the permits today. We purchased them, but our concrete guy can't start until Friday, which is 2 days from now. So that's so it's actually going to sit for a total of 4 full days. And actually, optimistically, he's going to start Friday. It's most likely actually going to be Tuesday that he starts on it. So it's going to sit for a minimum of 4 full business days, but in a maximum of 6, which is not what we want at all. So I have nothing new to show you on the lot, obviously, because nothing's happened. So it's still just a bare, empty lot that is ready for concrete, but we just can't get it done right now. So I'm going to show you a few other things before the house gets started. I'm going to show you some stuff on the plans and about how they lay out where to cut out the hole for the lots. So let's go to the plans. Alright, so the first thing I wanted to show you is what's called the vicinity map. And what this is a map of the entire phase in the subdivision. So I'm building currently in a community called Century Farm. And this is phase 7 of Century Farm. And I haven't added up how many lots there are in here, but there are quite a few, maybe 30, maybe a little more. We have, Alturas Homes has 8 in here. And so each one of these little sections, so where it says 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all these, all the way around, and then in here in the center too, those are all different lots for all the different builders to build on, and we have 8 of them. And this one with all the hash marks right here is the one that we're building on. And it's lot 3, block 20. And sometime in the future I'll explain how the lots and blocks work. But for now, all you need to know is that this little hashed out one is right here. So this is the corner of the street right here, which you can see. It's this corner coming around here. Here's our lot right on the corner, and that's what it looks like on the vicinity map. It's this little hashed one. And this phase actually has a pool as well. So going in right here, I'd show you, but you can't really see it right now. It's still under construction, but there's a big swimming pool right here, so this will be a big community area. And this area right here is a walkway that will be between these houses, so in the back of these houses, so that the people that are living over here can just walk through and get over there to the pool and stuff. So it's very basically how a phase, in an average community in Idaho anyway, that's what they look like. So I currently have these plans sitting on my tailgate with these organic paperweights, which are a couple of rocks that I just found in the dirt, because sometimes wind comes up and it blows all the pages around and it makes me really angry. So you can see up here where it says lot 3 or L3 B20, lot 3 block 20 Century Farm. So that's where we're at. So this house that we're building is going to be about 2,300 square feet with about 1,000 square foot garage and a covered patio that's about 200 square feet. And that's pretty average. That's an average size house that we build. We build up to 4,000 square feet, sometimes bigger, rarely smaller than that. I think the smallest that we go is about 1,800 square feet, so 2,300 is about right in the middle. Pretty average. But what I wanted to show you was how they determine where or where to dig. So if you look at the lot right here, you know, you can see that it looks really square. The lines are straight, you know, and you might wonder, well, how do they tell that? Like, how do they just pull out a measuring tape and start going and hope that it's right, you know? The answer is no. You probably already knew that, but the way that it works is that a surveyor comes out when they're developing a new phase. So for example, when they're developing this phase, all these little points, so there's a point there and there and there, and also in the back. And anytime there's a radius like this, like a curve, they're actually more property pins. So that's what those are. All those little dots are property pins. And that's how you know where to build your house. And so what our excavators did when they went to lay out this house is that, so these are so this is the front of the house, right? So this is the driveway right here, and this is the front walkway and the front door. And so what the excavators did was they found the front property pin. So they found this point and this point, which I would show you, but actually I can show you. I thought they were buried in the dirt, but they're not. So see that little blue thing? That little blue circle? So there's actually a metal stake that goes down, and it has a blue cap on it. So that's the property pin for this corner. So that's what they have these really long tape measures, and they stick one on that one, and then one at the other corner over there, and essentially they make triangles. And they use those triangles to find the front corners of the house. So they pull a measurement from this property pin over here, and they found and that gives them one measurement, and then they pull from this property pin over. So they both have measurements, like 21-ish feet and 57-ish feet. And whatever those two tape measures meet is the corner of the house. And they do the same thing on this one. And then they're able to pull back from that point all the way to the back of the house. And when they're marking out a house, if you've ever seen it, when you've seen a house being built, they don't actually mark out, like, they don't actually follow the perfect perimeter of the house. So they don't go like this, you know, they don't follow the lines and make all these jogs. They actually just mark out and cut the biggest rectangle. So instead of like making this turn, they just go like this, straight down. And then they go over, anyway. So they just make a rough rectangle, and they actually over dig it so that they have plenty of room for the concrete guys to come in. And that's about it. So that's what they do to mark out, you know, just a big patch of dirt into the shape, you know, the rough rectangle of where the house is gonna sit. If you're wondering why it has to be so precise, you know, why they can't just come out and dig an extra large rectangle, well, it's because imagine, you know, imagine a wall in a picture frame that gets a little bit crooked, you know, and it bothers everybody. Everybody kind of looks at it, even if it's like just really slightly crooked, it bothers you. You know, it catches your eye, and you're like, man, why does that look so weird to me? And it doesn't feel right until you adjust it, and it's perfectly level on the wall again and straight, you know. So that's how it is with a house. If you're building on a rectangular or square or, you know, whatever lot, then it looks really weird if the house is even just slightly cockeyed. You know, if the house is slightly out of square on the lot, then it looks weird and it feels weird. So that's why our excavators and our concrete guys, that's why it's so crucial for them to take their time and make sure the measurements are perfect, so that the house gets built perfectly square on the lot and it looks right. All right, so the last thing I wanted to show you while we don't have any concrete or anything going on in there is the spray paint on the ground. So you probably noticed every once in a while, wherever you live, that spray paint will randomly show up on dirt or on grass or wherever, you know. So you can see this red and yellow spray paint. And if you don't know what it is, what they're doing is they're marking utilities. So part of what a developer does, and a developer is the person that, you know, creates a neighborhood that builders later then build on. Part of what the developer does is they have to put in the ground utilities, right? So underneath here are gas lines and power lines. There's gas and power underground. And so every time you want to dig anywhere, and in fact, it's always a free service too. So probably where you live, there's a free service that if you call them, they will come out for free and they'll mark out your utility lines. And the reason that this is important is because if you're going to start digging, it's obviously really dangerous to hit power or gas. It's dangerous and it's expensive to fix. And so they provide this free service that always will come out. If you call them, they'll usually come like the next day and mark out your utilities so that you don't make the mistake of digging or cutting into your gas or your power. Well, hopefully you learned something today. I know it's not super exciting when no real, you know, upward progress has been made on this house, but that's just the way that it goes. So I'm actually kind of glad that it got delayed a little bit, because it helps you understand. You know, a lot of people don't understand why, you know, like if somebody comes to us and they want to build a house with us, and they have a hard close date, you know, a lot of people don't understand why a house would get delayed or why their closing date has to get pushed or whatever, you know. And the reason that it's important that knowing that it's a spec house is that a delay of a few days isn't the end of the world, because it's not pushing somebody's closing date, you know. But hopefully today, you know, I'm like, it's a little bit annoying that it didn't work out right, but I'm kind of glad, because it shows you that, you know, one little thing like the city not giving us our permit on time delays the house potentially a full week. So so hopefully our concrete guy starts on Friday. If not, though, then it'll be Tuesday, because Monday's Memorial Day. But whenever he starts, and it's exciting, and we'll start to see some real progress made. So make sure you check in next Tuesday when, you know, whether it's Friday or Monday, the concrete will start going in. So when you check in on Tuesday, there'll be some progress, and it'll be awesome. I'm Jake Wilkins with Alturas Homes, and I'll see you next time.